the most mysterious wife of the ruler of Dubai, one of the richest men in the world. Sheikh Mohammed officially had 6 wives. Some of them ran away from him, and others he expelled. However, Hind was the only one who lived with him for nearly half a century and gave birth to 12 children. Is she happy in her marriage? Why did her wedding with Mohammed enter the Guinness World Records? What was her relationship like with the other wives of the sheikh? Watch the video till the end to uncover all the secrets. Let's begin. Sheikha Hind Al Maktoum is the First Lady of Dubai and the mother of the Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan. She was born on February 12, 1962, and belongs to the ruling family of Dubai, the Al Maktoum family. Her mother, Sheikha, was the daughter of the second ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Said. She received her education at home according to Islamic traditions. The princess rarely left the palace, as if fate was preparing her for an extraordinary task. Hind had known Sheikh Mohammed since childhood, because he was her cousin on her mother's side and her uncle on her father's side. The most significant event in her life took place in 1979, when she was 17 years old, and her parents and Mohammed's parents decided to marry them. At that time, Sheikh Mohammed was the head of Dubai's police and its defense minister. He was 30 years old and had enjoyed bachelorhood for a few years before his engagement to Hind. He had a daughter named Manal from a Lebanese woman named Randa. It seems that Mohammed's family had grown tired of his romantic escapades and decided to show that he had finally settled down. To remove any doubts, they organized an extraordinarily lavish wedding. There was also a political aspect to this event, as the UAE had started to generate large revenues from oil and wanted to show the world its progress. The wedding of Mohammed and Hind was the first major public event in Dubai in terms of scale. It was more like a national holiday than a wedding. The celebrations were held near the Royal Zabeel Palace. A huge sandy area was prepared in front of the palace and fenced off, with special lighting poles set up for the event. A stadium for 20,000 people was built specifically for the wedding, and this reflected the scale of the event. The stadium was reserved for VIPs, while hundreds of thousands of ordinary Arabs sat in the open air. A procession of 20 camels from a rare breed arrived, carrying gifts for the bride Hind. These gifts were from Mohammed and his aristocratic guests. The gifts included clothes adorned with rubies and diamonds, luxurious jewelry, antique tableware, fine carpets, and several luxury cars. During 5 days, food and drinks were provided free to all the residents of Dubai. For the first time in the city's history, an incredible air show was organized in the sky. Guests also witnessed camel races, where Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum won first place. He then presented the gold cup he won to his bride. The guests from aristocratic families in various countries were stunned by the extravagance of the event. A total of $137 million was spent on the wedding, making it the most expensive wedding in history, which earned it a place in the Guinness World Records. Incredibly, the extravagant luxury did not overwhelm Hind, who was only 17 years old at the time. After the celebration, she fully dedicated herself to family life. Over the next 2 decades, she gave birth to 12 children. She almost gave birth every year, which was an achievement in itself. Hind also raised many adopted children, mostly orphans taken from orphanages. Some of these children, who were not her biological children, were children of Mohammed from his other wives. According to witnesses, she not only accepted this, but was happy with it. She loved children deeply and never made a distinction between her biological children and the children of Muhammad's other wives. The princess gave birth to her first child, her daughter Hessa, a year after the wedding. A year later, Rashid was born, and he was supposed to be the heir to his father's throne in Dubai. Hind dedicated all her efforts to raising him to be an ideal ruler. Indeed, Rashid grew up to be a smart and strong-willed young man, and the people of Dubai had high hopes for him. But at the age of 33, Rashid, a prominent athlete and the pride of his mother, passed away from a heart attack. It was a devastating loss for Hind, but she knew she couldn't succumb to grief because she had other children who needed care, upbringing, and preparation for life. Hind faced many difficult challenges in her life. Her husband had many women to the point that he probably couldn't remember all of them. Usually, Muhammad had 3 or 4 wives at the same time and would replace them from time to time. This often happened when disputes arose between him and one of them, and he would cut the relationship but keep the children. Hind saw all of this, but accepted it with patience because she was raised according to strict Islamic traditions. According to these traditions, she always covered her face with a traditional veil. This veil, made of metallic-colored fabric, is commonly worn by women in the Gulf countries. It resembles the word burqa, which means full face cover, but the veil only covers part of the face and is considered a symbol of femininity in Arab traditions. In the past, the veil was part of everyday clothing for women, but it has become rare today and is mainly worn by older women. In 2004, Hind faced a difficult challenge when Sheikh Mohammed married the beautiful Princess Haya of Jordan. Haya was 12 years younger than Hind and was more attractive, ambitious, and very active. Unlike the first wife, Haya would appear with Muhammad at all events, give media interviews, and participate in public activities. However, this marriage ended tragically. After 15 years, Haya fled the palace with her children to a court in London. She was able to win a lawsuit against her ex-husband and received $730 million. This divorce was the most expensive in the world. Coincidentally, Sheikh Mohammed entered 2 world records related to his wives. He spent an astronomical amount on his wedding to Hind, but had to pay even more to legally separate from Haya. It seems he had no regrets about either of them, as both wives provided him with something more precious than money. As for Hind, she raised all of Muhammad's children in the best possible way. The Crown Prince, Sheikh Hamdan, is actively contributing to the development of the United Arab Emirates and is preparing to succeed his father in ruling Dubai. Meanwhile, 7 of his other children have become officials in government departments, businessmen, or work in the field of science. As her daughters, most of whom are married and taking care of their families, the First Lady is now over 60. She has fulfilled her duty as a mother and is now helping her husband manage the emirate. She contributes to charitable work and supports the empowerment of Arab women in leadership. However, she continues to work quietly, without seeking attention or fame. There are rumors that the photos appearing of Hind are not actually hers, but belong to Mama Nora, the nanny who helped raise Sheikh Mohammed's children. It is also said that there are very few real photos of Hind, all taken in her youth. What do you think about this?